It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. It's Wednesday evening, March 1st, 2017. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, gold, euro, and FDAX this evening. Crude is bearish, but one major support level and two legs down off the high tells us to be looking for a trap high for the most reliable selling opportunities tomorrow. The S&P is bullish, but a key trend line tells us to look for sellers to try twice before looking for the next leg higher tomorrow. Gold is bullish, but the pendulum swing is telling us it's too late to buy now and watch for a trap low for the most reliable buying opportunities on Thursday. The euro looks bullish at first glance, but there's one big clue on the chart. It's telling us that sellers are eager to send this price back to the low, and it's up to those bulls to stop them tomorrow. The FDAX is bullish with a spike in channel after a strong run higher today, and a big round number on the chart makes it easy to know where the most reliable buying opportunities are coming in tomorrow's session. Boy, oh boy, we're ready to kick off another new month of trading opportunities here at School of Trade. I got another great newsletter in store for you guys and gals tonight with plenty of reliable trading opportunities setting up for tomorrow. Before we jump into those charts, though, I do want to remind you the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're not watching the video on our blog, if you're on the YouTube channel right now, it's only a small portion of the entire video on the YouTube channel. Not to worry, in the description, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link, and I'll see you over here on the blog for the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when our nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on social. Many different ways to follow me on social media. I'm always posting important content throughout the day on my many social media channels. Below the video tonight, you can download all the charts you see me using in tonight's video. How easy is that? Follow that link below the video tonight, and you can download all the charts from tonight's video. And please don't forget, if you're not a member here at School of Trade, you're going to learn more with me in 90 minutes on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. Grab that free pass in the upper right-hand corner if you're not an advanced member here at School of Trade. And please don't forget, if you're brand new here to the SOT community, I got a great frequently asked questions page, the who, what, where, when, and why. Follow that link for frequently asked questions and learn why we're known as being the industry leader in futures trading strategies and professional grade education. And if you have any questions, don't forget, I'm always here standing by to help you guys out. Hit me up on the live support tool on the right-hand side of the website. I'm here to answer your questions every step of the way. Boy, we get a new week, or should I say a new month coming right in the corner here, March 1st. Tomorrow, of course, is the second day of the month as we go into the end of the week here and into a new month of March. There's no major news on the calendar in the overnight session, and a relatively uneventful session tomorrow. I've got a news tomorrow morning at 4:30 a.m. and 5 a.m. I'm not expecting too much fireworks off of that. In fact, I'm expecting more of a reaction to the presidential speech from last night, as we're going to see some charts here tonight. So again, no major news overnight. We got 4:30 and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, construction and home prices. I'm not expecting that to be a big market moving event. And then we don't really have a lot tomorrow morning in the U.S. session. We, of course, have your typical Thursday morning jobless claims, and we've got a little bit here and there from our good friends in Canada. We'll get the GDP right from Canada. You know, I know I always battle with a lot of people on this, but I haven't seen jobless claims move the markets in years. So I'm not expecting much tomorrow at 8:30. We do have some major news tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. You know, gold opens up at 8:20, right? So, you know, gold will open with volume at 8:20, but as far as the jobless claims number goes, I'm not expecting the market to really take hold of that too much tomorrow. So relatively a wide open day tomorrow. No major news tonight, only some small news tomorrow in London, and then again get the old jobless claims report on Thursday mornings. You know, and again, not expecting much out of that either. So watch the opening bells, 8:20. Right, on gold and euro, 9 o'clock on crude, 9:30 on the NYSE. And of course, as we always say, right, get to it early because that's what professionals are. Don't forget, we're going to be in our trade room tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we're going to execute the 3 steps to success right along with all of our advanced members. I look forward to seeing you right there with me. How about some crude? We'll go crude, S&P, gold, euro, and we can't forget about the FDAX here tonight. We'll wrap up with the old FDAX. Crude is bearish and trying to finish off a measured move tomorrow, but we're 2 legs down off the highs, which tells us the most reliable selling opportunities will likely be using traps and failures up at resistance levels tomorrow. The measured move is a big clue on the chart tonight. We want to be sellers, but we don't want to sell into that support area. So stay focused on selling high tomorrow, even if this market keeps tumbling lower. I think the two biggest clues right now are the bear channel that we saw come off the highs after the news event. After that, of course, right, we're now 2 legs down off of that high. That tells us right now that if we're selling now, we're late to the party, and we like to be selling high. If we sell now, we're selling low. The next big clue on this chart is going to be the measured move. The measured move is pretty easy to see. You can see it down there at, right, 53.5, 53, 57. And, we always want to be a seller until we get to the measured move. And you can see how we're not there yet, but we're definitely almost there. And so we have to assume now, combine the fact that we're 2 legs down off the high, along with the fact that we have that measured move only a few inches away here right now, probably going to have a lot of bears that are interested, but they're not going to be too interested in selling low. My objective right now is going to be watch this overhead resistance trend line, watch this reversal line at 53.80. Keep an eye on this battle zone. And don't be surprised here if we see a 2-legged move higher, trap high, and then back down, right? A little bull micro with the break and retest. And then, of course, the opportunity now, right, to sell this market back down. So a few different things to keep an eye out right now. If you're a bear with me here tomorrow, again, first of all, looking to sell high. Price 2-legged move up, trap high, and back down. That'll be one option. Obviously, if price just shoots higher here, we can then look for the failure on the pullback and then back down as well, right? Buyers will try to buy that pullback, look for their failure for the move back down. If price goes lower here, right? Hey, we may just roll over here, right? Price goes lower, rolls over to that measured move. Remember, whenever we see a measured move in the chart, that's the market objective. We know if we get right to the objective, we're now looking for that price to come up, right? Give us a shot here to sell it back down. So if we do end up, right, if we don't end up trap high, back down, if we don't end up, pullback failure and back down. If we don't get that price to go up so we can sell it back down, not to worry. If this price slams lower here into that measured move, right, usually what will happen is you'll find a little short-term trading range that will develop, and you'll be able to look for that price to go up and then back down from there as well, right? So look for that little spike in range as the market goes lower and look to sell it, right, as it leaves the top of that range. Now, obviously here, if it keeps going through it, keep an eye out for a breakout pullback below that measured move, right, for a move down to that prior week low. Remember, once we get towards that end of the week, right, last week's levels start becoming quite important, right? So Thursday and Friday of this week, start keeping an eye on those weekly levels, open, high, low, and close levels from last week, right? That prior week low at 53.35 is definitely going to be turned on now as a magnet for price as we go into Thursday's and Friday's session. Now, what about the buyers here? What would I be looking for as a buyer? Well, the bears have control, so the first thing is I need to see strength. Strength going higher won't be enough, and we'll take a look at that on, I believe it's the euro here tonight. We'll see an example of that in just a few moments, so stay tuned for that. But the first step is always going to be strength. If we get some strength for the buyers, okay, now I'm interested, but they have to hold that pullback, right? Got to hold that pullback. If the buyers can hold the pullback and show me some higher highs, now I'm interested in calling this a bull market, and we'll go looking now, of course, right, for our own bull channel, our own measured move, and of course the objective will be to go back up and retest that high tomorrow. So bears have control. 2 legs down off the high, and a measured move tells me look to sell high. We've gone over the plan here. We'll be trading that plan tomorrow with all of our students in the trade room. Continuing here now from Crude to the S&P, the E-mini is bullish with a spike in channel this evening, and the buyers are waiting patiently for price to come off today's all-time highs so they can buy it cheap for a target going back up to the high. This move higher today was quite strong, as you can see. The buyers clearly, right, love what they heard last night from our president president here in the United States. Move higher, very strong today, which tells us that we won't likely see this market pull back all the way to the battle zone, so we're watching previous swings and looking for the sellers to fail on the next pullback for the first clue to start buying. I think the big obstacle tomorrow for those buyers will be that resistance trend line overhead, so we'll be watching for a successful breakout pullback for a move back to the high. Now, a very, very good example here, and we got one of these on the FDAX, of course, as well. You know, again, it's pretty difficult to argue with the fact that these markets just took off, right? We talked about this last night on the newsletter. We had that presidential speech last night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and these markets obviously loved every single word that came out of his mouth. I can't say I don't blame him, right? Talking about removing regulations, cutting taxes, that doesn't sound like a bad mixture, right, for the economy here in the U.S., right? And we definitely can see the markets agree with us on that. With that said, these are some of the situations that you want to be thinking about when you have a runaway market. First of all, right, again, we have that runaway, and whenever we have a real strong runaway market, we want to remember that, you know, getting those deep pullbacks are just probably not going to happen. Any opportunity right now for the buyers to pull back, you know, the typical pullback area, right, 50% off of that high. Boy, I would love to see a half-back move on this right now, but it's just unlikely, right? It's unlikely. So if we're not likely to get a half-back move, you know, again, if we get a half-back move, we know everyone will want to buy that up. But again, unlikely. Anything that pulls back right now is likely going to be seen as a buying opportunity. So what we want to be looking for is rather than just blindly buying, look for these clues. First of all, as the market pulls back, sometimes we see a lower high, right? And that creates that falling resistance. So we're going to be watching this on the S&P. It's pretty easy to see on the S&P, but also watch for that on the FDAX as well. We got one setting up on gold too. So whenever we have a lower high, you want to start thinking in terms of that falling resistance. Whenever we find falling resistance, now we know we have to really be careful not to buy into that. So your job as a bull is to look for some clues as the market pulls back so you can buy without buying into the resistance, and then look to pad the order, right, as we get back above, right, and use that resistance, right, as an area of support. So what are some clues that we can be looking for right down during that pullback? Let's rewind the tape a little bit here now. And what are some clues here now? As the market moves lower, we're looking for clues now so we can start to buy into that pullback. What would be some clues? We talk about this throughout the advanced course. It's called the two-try rule. The two-try rule has so many different applications. In fact, we can use it on trading ranges. We can use it during trending days. We can use it for pretty much, again, just really about a half dozen different applications throughout the day. The markets are filled with human beings, and what we know about human beings and crowd psychology is that people will usually try things twice before they give up and go in the opposite direction. So one easy clue that you should be looking for as this market pulls back is to see the sellers try once, up, try twice, and when we see those bears try once, try twice, and they start to fail, that's usually going to be the sign that we can start looking for that buying opportunity. So big strong move up. We don't want to buy high. We want to wait for a pullback. How far will it pull back? Wait for that strong move down. Wait for the sellers to try a second time. And if and when they fail, that's when you know the bears are likely now going to get caught and have to cover their short positions, and price will shoot back up. Now remember to watch out for that rising support trend line, right? We don't want to buy into that, so look for the move back up above, right, and go from there. Now, one more thing about these real strong markets. Whenever a market moves in a very strong one direction in one day, we talk about this all the time, right? Big pullback and retest the high. We talked about this earlier on in the newsletter. This is really, really important. Strong move in one direction. They pull back off the high. Where's the objective? The objective, of course, now is to retest the high. Now, what I'm getting at here is, right, we already talked about that earlier on this week. What I'm getting at here is a lot of times what happens is when the market pulls back, again, we see those sellers try once, they try twice, right? And then when they fail, right, it slams back up again. Now, with that said, the objective is to get back to the high. Once we get to that high, time out and wait and see what happens. Do we blow through and hold the pullback?